Imagine waking up in New York, having lunch in London, and falling asleep in Tokyo, all within a single day. Imagine a world where borders feel smaller, cultures feel closer, and the sky itself becomes a global highway. Every day, more than 100,000 flights take off around the world, carrying millions of passengers, tons of cargo, and the dreams of an interconnected planet. But have you ever stopped to think about what truly powers this massive global airline system? How did airlines rise from fragile propeller aircraft to modern flying cities? Why do some airlines dominate the world while others disappear into history? And what does the future of global aviation really look like in a world facing climate change, economic pressure, and rapid technological evolution? In Tisby, though, we will slowly, clearly, and deeply explore Global Airline Insights, uncovering how airlines work, how they compete, how they survive crises, and how they shape the modern world. This is not just a story about airplanes. This is the story of how humanity learned to conquer distance. The story of global airlines begins in the early 20th century, when aviation was still considered dangerous, experimental, and accessible only to the brave. The first airlines were not created to carry tourists or business travelers. Instead, they were built to transport mail, government documents, and essential supplies. Early aircraft were slow, loud, uncomfortable, and extremely limited in range. Yet, despite these challenges, they represented something revolutionary: the ability to move faster than land or sea transportation ever allowed. As technology improved after World War I, airlines slowly began carrying passengers. The 1920s and 1930s saw the birth of national flag carriers such as Lufthansa, Air France, and Imperial Airways, which later became British Airways. These airlines were symbols of national pride, technological progress, and global ambition. Flying was still a luxury reserved for the wealthy, but it was becoming safer, more reliable, and more organized. World War II dramatically changed aviation forever. Aircraft technology advanced rapidly, runways expanded, navigation systems improved, and pilots gained unmatched experience. When the war ended, this knowledge was transferred into civilian aviation, giving birth to the modern airline industry. Long-haul flights became possible, jet engines replaced propellers, and international travel entered a new era. The introduction of jet aircraft in the 1950s marked one of the most important moments in airline history. Aircraft like the Boeing 707 and later the Douglas DC-8 transformed air travel by making it faster, smoother, and more efficient. Suddenly, crossing oceans was no longer an exhausting journey measured in days. It became a matter of hours. This jet age triggered massive global expansion. Airlines began opening international routes, connecting continents, and building complex networks. Airports evolved into global hubs, handling millions of passengers every year. Cities like London, New York, Paris, Frankfurt, Dubai, and Singapore emerged as major aviation centers. During this period, airlines were still heavily regulated. Governments controlled ticket prices, routes, and competition. While this limited innovation, it also ensured stability and safety. Airlines focused on service quality, onboard comfort, and national identity. Uniforms, branding, and in-flight hospitality became key elements of airline reputation. Everything changed in the late 1970s and 1980s with airline deregulation, especially in the United States and later in Europe. Governments removed strict controls on fares and routes, allowing airlines to compete freely. This decision reshaped the global airline industry forever. Deregulation led to lower ticket prices, increased competition, and a surge in passenger numbers. It also introduced new business models, including low-cost carriers like Southwest Airlines, Ryanair. These airlines focused on efficiency, quick turnarounds, and affordable fares, making air travel accessible to millions of people who had never flown before. At the same time, traditional full-service airlines were forced to adapt. Many struggled financially, merged with competitors, or disappeared entirely. Others reinvented themselves by forming alliances, improving operational efficiency, and expanding their global reach. One of the most important strategies in modern aviation is the creation of airline alliances. Major alliances like Star Alliance, SkyTeam, and oneworld allow airlines to cooperate rather than compete directly on certain routes. Through alliances, airlines share codes, coordinate schedules, and offer passengers seamless global travel. These alliances benefit travelers by providing smoother connections, shared loyalty programs, and access to hundreds of destinations worldwide. For airlines, alliances reduce costs, increase market presence, and improve profitability in an industry known for thin margins. Behind the scenes, airlines operate in one of the most complex and risky business environments in the world. Fuel prices, aircraft leasing costs, maintenance, labor, airport fees, and regulatory compliance all play a crucial role in profitability. Even a small increase in fuel costs can turn profits into losses. Airlines also rely heavily on data and technology. Modern airlines use advanced software to optimize routes, manage pricing dynamically, predict demand, and reduce delays. Every seat on an aircraft represents a time-sensitive product. Once a flight departs, any empty seat becomes lost revenue forever. The airline industry has faced numerous global crises, including economic recessions, terrorism, oil shocks, and pandemics. The COVID-19 pandemic was one of the most devastating events in aviation history, grounding fleets worldwide and pushing airlines to the brink of collapse. Yet, airlines proved resilient. Governments provided support, airlines restructured operations, cargo flights increased, and travel slowly recovered. This resilience highlights how essential airlines are to the global economy and human connectivity. The future of global airlines is being shaped by sustainability, innovation, and changing passenger expectations. Airlines are investing in fuel-efficient aircraft, sustainable aviation fuels, and quieter engines. Digital transformation is improving passenger experience through contactless travel, biometric boarding, and personalized services. At the same time, competition remains intense. Airlines must balance affordability, comfort, safety, and environmental responsibility. The next generation of aviation may include electric aircraft, hydrogen-powered planes, and even supersonic travel returning to the skies. From fragile wooden aircraft to modern flying giants, global airlines have reshaped the world in ways few industries ever could. They connect families, fuel economies, enable global trade, and bring cultures closer together. Every flight tells a story of engineering, ambition, risk, and human curiosity. As you look up at the sky and watch an aircraft disappear into the clouds, remember that it represents more than just travel. It represents progress, connection, and the shared dream of a world without distance. This is the true insight into global airlines. Not just how they fly, but why they matter.